What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. Today on the left side we have Melodious, a deck that focuses on fusion summoning monsters that does get hit quite a bit now with the new Dominus card as well as Full Rose. And on the right side we have Goblin Bikers. This deck's going to be a little bit more popular as a budget option. We're going to be seeing Melodious when the die roll here, going to be able to go first, and they're going to be normal summoning out a copy of Refrain. Refrain can then search us for a couplet, which can then potentially activate its effect in the hand to summon another one from the hand here or the graveyard, but it does not look like we're going to activate the effect, therefore probably not having an extender in the hand. So we're going to be then activating the couplet, which can then search for the Concerto, which is going to be allowing us to fusion summon to get out into the Boccia, which can then let us continue the play here. So we are going to be activating the Concerto, and this is going to resolve. It also looks like they potentially have the level 7 in the hand, so we are going to be using that instead to go up into the Boccia. This is going to allow us to have access to an Etoile very early on, and also being able to summon back out here. So we're going to see the Soprano going to be activated, and that's going to be Soprano is going to be summoned here, I should say, which can then activate the effect, allowing us to fuse, going up into that Etoile. So we are going to play around Nibiru in this case, and then we're going to be seeing the effect of the Concerto being able to draw, as well as the Boccia going to be able to place or summon back out the Shapina, and then we're going to be seeing the Refrain going to be also put in the Pendulum Scale. So we do see that level 7 going to be summoned out, as well as get an additional draw, and we do have access to adding back the Soprano and then Pendulum summoning it out as well if we want to, depending on what else we have. If we have another extender in the hand, we could also see that go up into the Bloom, the Link 2 here. So we're going to be seeing the Soprano add back we're going to be seeing the level 7 add back the level 4, which is now going to be able to be Pendulum Summon if we want to, and we activate the Etoile, or we activate the Refrain effect, targeting the Etoile to send one to the graveyard here. So we're going to be sending a Cannon, because once we do Special Summon out that copy of the level 4, we can then add back any Melodious monster in our graveyard, which is quite nice. We also see an Ash and looks like a Veiler in the hand as well. So we do Pendulum Summon out that level 4, adding back the Cannon from the graveyard, which is another extender as well. And then we're going to be able to activate the effect to fuse up into a Shaberta, which is going to be a nice little triple DD Crow interruption. And we can special summon with the Cannon just as a boost, same thing with Sonata, or we can link away here for a Bloom, and then we can summon out an Aria from the deck, as well as any other, even just the Sonata or a couplet as well. So we're going to be seeing the LG. We are main decking LG, so now we are protected from targeting and battle destruction, as well as card destruction. So we are pretty much locked in to win this game. It's going to be very hard without some of those kind of crazy board breakers. But yeah, so we have a Bounce, a triple DD Crow, a cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and we cannot be targeted as well. We are going to still try to play through this by special summoning out the the Terratop, which can allow us to search for Tacky Tomborg. This is going to be a nice little extender / starter for the Goblin deck, making essentially us able to make a Big Gabunga or any other rank 3 at ease. We see an overlay for the Big Gabunga. This is going to be met with a Veiler, so we have another interruption as well. We saw the Etoile Bounce. Now, Shaberta's not crazy against this. It's good against some of the cards in the graveyard that's able to attach to summon themselves out. But it's not like the best that you're going to be finding. Like, even against Memento, against Tempai, it can be good against Branded, against Ubel, against the Azamina deck. Like, Shaberta is very, very powerful, but not in this matchup. We're going to see Grand Entrance going to be activated, which is going to allow us to search. And we do chain Ash to this, so now we have used our Veiler and Ash in our hand, and we still have that double interruption, which both of them will be able to come back and then be interruptions during the follow-up turn as well. Now I'm going to be assuming the Goblin Biker has a lot of extenders in the hand because we didn't see any hand traps being dropped there. They have only used 2 of their cards so far, to kind of play through this. So they still have 4 other cards in the hand to kind of break this board. We're going to see Doug going to activate, which is going to be able to detach from the Goblin Biker to summon himself out and then be able to search. So another body on the board to try to crack this. I'm not exactly sure how we are going to find a way to crack it, but I do give props to the Goblin Biker deck for at least trying. And we're going to be seeing the new one being searched. I believe it's called Breakout. It would allow us to dodge types of cards like Veiler, but unfortunately the Etoile does not target, so it's going to be just able to resolve on resolution to kind of bounce those cards. So it's not going to help us in this necessary matchup right here, but if they would have had that earlier, we could have prevented maybe that Veiler from being destructive. Now, we still would have probably not want to hit the Gabunga because obviously it is an XYZ and we can detach for our Doug summons. But if we just summon out a Doug or something else that would activate the effect from the deck, it can definitely help us out here. So we're kind of thinking on how we can play through this. All the cards of the Melodious player are known now. And so they are going to try to go battle phase. And we do chain the Etoile here to return. It looks like Bloom and itself to bounce those two back. And so now we are left with 0 cards on the field, and we have not normal summon, which is the important part. So it looks like I also see a Clutter in the hand shuffle there. I only see a Doug. So we know Doug in the spell, but we still have another Terror Top to summon out, and the Merciless normal summon. This is going to be able to activate the effect, allowing us to summon out another Goblin here. And we do choose to summon out the Goblins Gone Wild that we have in the hand. This is going to be the new one from Rhoda as well, alongside the Grand Breakout. And so now we have Doug as well as the Breakout in the hand. And I believe that all cards are known now, unless there's one more unknown in hand that I do not recognize. But it looks like there's only 2. It is going to be quite good because we are going to be able to like tribute off that Gone Wild if we want to summon out a level 3. But we do think on what we kind of want to summon. So like the Gone Wild has a lot of different options we can summon. Kind of depends on what you want to do. I know there is a level 4. It's like Goblin of Greed. That it stops their opponent from tributing cards to activate card effect, which is very nice. It does stop some of those hand rips or even some like random hand traps that do affect you. But we are going to be thinking on what we want to summon here. So we have like essentially 2 more level 3s on the field if you wish. One off this Gone Wild and the other one off the Breakout. I'm still not exactly sure how we're going to find a way to beat the Shiberta as well as the Aria and the LG, but it may not be possible. If you guys know how to find a way to clear it, let me know in the comment section down below, because we're always looking for ways to kind of break these unbreakable boards. It's very hard when you don't open any hand traps and your opponent does go full combo, especially in a combo like this and where we're main decking the LG as well to like essentially just prevent everything. And then when it is backed up with 2 hand traps, it's like that's kind of crazy as well. But we do see the Scrap Goblin going to be summoned. This is going to be a tuner allowing us to get into some of those synchro plays. And we do XYZ up into the Armor Torpedo. This is going to allow us to detach to draw a card. And then we can overlay up into the Armor Fortress to actually search for the trap if we didn't draw into it. So we're seeing us go for the Fortress, which allows us to search for that Armor XYZ. And then we can go up once again into a Dark Knight Lancer. So this is going to be kind of the only way that can kind of find a way to attach. But the problem is we're going to have to find a way to overlay first to get that trap in the graveyard. Like we have to wait another turn for it, which is kind of unfortunate. But that is one way to out the Aria, let's say, because it does not target, which is very nice. So we are going to be seeing the attachment for Merciless to be able to summon itself back out. And then we can link up into a Yama. So this is actually going to allow us to have that XYZ armored trap into the graveyard. So this is going to be a very cool way of doing it. Let's just have access to a Rage as well as putting that trap in the graveyard. So we see the Shavara being searched. And now we can actually set that copy of the full armored XYZ and have the Shavara pop it. Now the problem with that is that this is all very good if we had not if we had already used the Shiberta. So Shiberta will have a say here by banishing those cards. But if we did have a way to have another level 3 on the field, we would be able to XYZ up into something and then make that become the equip spell. But they would have to preemptively banish that that full armored XYZ. But the problem here is I don't think the Melodious player necessarily knows a bunch of the cards, and we do see a Wheeler trying to be summoned out. Now, unfortunately, we can't do this because Shavara does lock us into Fiends. We could have done this prior to the activation of the Shavara, though. Or, even in this case, we link away first to go up into that Rage, and then we summon it out. So it's not that big of a deal, which is kind of important to note. You can't do that, but there's other ways to play around it. So we're going to see them make that Rage, and then the Escape will be able to set itself because the Shavara was hit the graveyard, setting a trap from the deck here. And we do XYZ up into... It doesn't necessarily matter what we try to go for. We go for a Break Sword. Now we do banish the spell, and I'm not exactly sure what this one does. Grant Entrance. You can banish a card from graveyard, then attach one XYZ from a monster on either field. You can add one Goblin. Okay, so it's going to add a Goblin. I don't think it targets either. So we're going to add the Scrap Goblin to the hand. And then we're going to be detaching for Break Sword. Going to try to be destroying the couplet in itself here. And then we chain the Breakout to destroy that Break Sword. Summon out the Clatter here. And I believe Clatter on summon Reborns went out from the graveyard as well. It does target, so we're going to be targeting the Merciless. And then we also get to activate the Yama because the Break Sword did destroy a card. And so then we summon out the Gone Wild as well as the Merciless here. So I'm not exactly sure what we're waiting for the Shiberta. I feel like there's definitely a bit of a line where we could have hit that. Hit something in the graveyard, maybe even banishing the Yama preemptively. Or some of those cards do stuff in the graveyard, like we see the Yama, the Grand Entrance. But the deck does so much, it's really hard to know what you want to hit. I personally feel like I'd hit the full armored XYZ, the Yama, and then the Grand Entrance. But I even had to read the card myself before I knew that it had a graveyard effect. So we are going to be overlaying up into another big Gabonga here. And then we're going to be linking away into an IP. So you're going to banish the full armored, target the Lancer, and they do take a second to read. And so here, most likely going to be banishing XYZs. And if we have more than 3, we're not going to be able to stop that full armored XYZ from activating there. So we see one Gabonga. They do leave an XYZ in the graveyard because we did have more than 3. And then we're going to be equipping the Break Sword to the full armor. And then we're going to be seeing the full armor activate, allowing us to attach that Aria, because Aria is going to be the one preventing the targeting there. So now we have Rage access as well. And we also have the Escape here. We do have to be careful because we do know that the Étoile here is coming back. So now we have a bounce for the next turn, but we have no couplet access, allowing us to search for that Concerta, which is very nice. So we are going to be left essentially on the cards that are on the field, are going to be the cards left there. And we don't have access to another Bloom because the zoning that we had to use, we'd have to get rid of the LG for that, which is going to be pretty something that we don't want to do alongside the Étoile, just for the fact that where the Rage is. So we see Étoile is going to attempt to activate the effects, and we're going to be thinking on this. I mean, Etoile is a really hard card for a lot of decks to beat, including the Goblin Bikers. You know, it has like so many different effects. Be able to bounce multiple times a turn, or I guess being able to bounce any time at any turn, and then being able to return, as well as if it is destroyed, being able to summon from the deck or the extra deck is just insane. You know, we're going to be banishing the Shaberda so that we can make it able to come back and then activate the effect once again, and the Bloom here, and then we're going to be trying to bounce. I have a feeling it's going to be the full armor alongside the Rage, but so we left the IP on the field, and I don't necessarily think there's a way to kind of get this back. So we're going to be seeing the refrain targeting that Etoile, making it able to boost the attack as well as just get a couplet in the graveyard. So we might have another way to kind of add back the couplet there, or we're just kind of praying that we can go for like maybe a Botcha later. We see a battle phase dealing some damage. We also are boosted by the by that LG there, boosted by 300, I believe. But then they just set one card, and then we're going to be seeing the Shaberda as well as the Bloom come back. And then we can banish once again if we want to here, just so that the Etoile will be able to trigger again during our next turn to like essentially another banish. So like we do see Melodious kind of in control of this game here, very nicely. But they're going to just pass turn, allowing their opponent to kind of draw again and take another chance. And so we do see a normal summon of a Doug. This was the last card in the hand that was known, and they do imperm that, so having another hand trap again for it, but we can chain the Breakout. So this might have been the card that we drew for turn, or that other card that we end up having off that armored draw, and this is going to allow us to dodge that imperm very nicely, and let us summon out one from the deck. So we might see the Gone Wild being summoned, which can then bring one back out, or another copy of Merciless as well, which can then bring out the Gone Wild and trigger. Now it is important that we do have the Shaberda that we have to pay attention to. Now the Etoile definitely will hurt us quite a bit, but it's the Shaberda that's going to be able to just like kind of punish us extremely hard. So we do see. Like we're thinking, like we have gone through a lot. We do see the Gone Wild going to be able to trigger, and then we're going or summon itself out, and then we're going to be adding the trap. The Grand Stampede is going to be another new one, or I guess the Grand Crisis, and it's essentially like Blackout, I believe. But it can also banish cards in the graveyard as well. Then we're going to be seeing the Gone Wild going to activating, summoning out another Doug from the deck. And we just scoop it up, realizing the game is lost. Yeah, there wasn't really much that we could have done, especially when we have already gone through like so much. Rage being able to like bouncing back with the Twad just feels so hard. Like you could play through it the first time, and then we did like break their board quite a bit. But just having the like complete extenders, being able to go hard so many times is like super rough. We did kind of break their board, which is very impressive, especially with only gas. Like we didn't see any non-engine there, which is very important. When you are playing in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, your non-engine is kind of your most powerful part of the deck that you have to rely on seeing. So seeing non-engine and still being able to do all that we ended up watching is very impressive for the Goblin Biker deck here. But unfortunately, just not enough due to the fact that we had another imperm, and then we also had the Etoile being able to come back and just like cause so many problems like we saw there. Making Shaberda essentially happen twice, and could have been even a third time there if we would have continued our plays a little bit, which is why we couldn't summon up the Merciless, because of course if we did that, then they'd have to target in the graveyard and we would just get their cards back. But now diving into game 2, we are going to be seeing Goblin Biker is going to be able to go first, starting off with an E-Telly and then another E-Telly as well. So double E-Tellying here up into the Wielder alongside a Nyan Nyan. So we are playing Nyan Nyan here, which is going to allow us to have another level 3 as an extender there. And we do go up into a Big Gabunga. Big Gabunga will activate its effects, and that's going to allow us to search for a Doug. So we do see a Droll and Lockbird going to be activating on Resolution here. And that's going to be a little bit hard for the Goblin Biker deck. They do like to add quite a bit. The Nyan Nyan will be able to be attached to summon of that Doug. And Doug unfortunately cannot trigger due to the fact that we are under Droll. We are going to be seeing the Nyan Nyan trigger here. Now I'm not exactly sure if that's the correct play, because now we are locked into XYZs that are link 3. So we can't go for any link plays anymore. Not link 3, my bad. For rank 3s, we are not able to go up into links anymore, which can be quite crucial for this deck. And we did see a synchro of I think I was going to say Sheen, but it's actually the Shen there. It also looks like we have a tour guide in the hand as well, so maybe not the brightest play to go for that Nyan Nyan there. They're thinking if they want to overlay or not. It does become a tuner, right? Yeah, so it would be a tuner. So we could have potentially gone for a normal summon of a tour guide to go up into that. Oh yeah, I guess we can't, because it can't be used as synchro material. But I always forget about that. I have not played in Dino format, so that was never really like an occurrence to me. But we do make a number 75 of Baboozling, which will just turn in effect into a draw one card. Now we can't necessarily use it under Droll and Lockbird this turn, I believe. I could be wrong about that. It could just turn it into nothing, but I don't believe we can activate an effect that just cannot resolve. But now we normal summon that tour guide. We go up into Merciless here, and then we can overlay up into a Break Sword. Now I don't believe Break Sword is a quick effect, so it's not going to be able to do that during the opponent's turn. But if we do play F-Zero, we could see the Big Gabunga and the Phantom Knight go up into that F-Zero. So we're actually going to go up into Big Gabunga here again, and then we're going to set one card, and then, we're going to be seeing the end phase of Gabunga going to attach. Now, it's fine. This is a local level event where we just gone into an XYZ. They had no other interruptions. They asked their opponent to take it back because it does not really matter, and, it's going to be fine. Like, if it was for regionals, you most likely wouldn't see that, but in this case, it's not going to make that many difference. You want to have that good testing for the regionals, therefore you kind of let those plays get taken back. So we do see the couplet going to be activated in the spell and trap card zone, and then we attempt to activate the effect, searching for that Concerto, and we see that resolve. Now we're going to be seeing a Desire is going to be activating. You definitely want to search for your Concerto prior to Desire's resolving. And we do look in the Banish to see what we hit. And we don't see an Ashen response, so we just draw 2 cards, which is very nice off that. Prosperity was... And we activate Dark Hole. So Prosperity was a really good card in that deck. But we draw into a Dark Hole here, which is going to be able to board wipe the entire field. Pretty nutty there. So essentially making it so that the Goblin Bikers now have nothing other than one set card and then the card in their hand. We are going to be seeing the Concerto going to be activating using the level 7 alongside the couplet in the scale, allowing us to go for that Botcha. Botcha can now trigger being able to summon out from the deck, and we can summon out either a Refrain or the level 4, all depending on what we have else in hand. I thought we saw a Sonata there, so we are going to be summoning out that Refrain. Refrain can then let us activate the effect, letting us search for that Soprano, and we have not normal summon, so we are going to be able to normal summon out that level 4, lets us fuse to go up into another Etoile. We are going to be seeing the normal summon of the level 4, and will we maybe be met with a copy of Imperm on this. We are going to be seeing a Sonata being summoned out here, and our zones are very, very well. This is actually game on board. So we have an option here we are going to see them go battle phase. Sonata's going to be 17, the other one's going to be a 19. We are going to be seeing then a 21 alongside a 3000, which brings us to 87 damage here. So that's going to be game if they have nothing on this. And we are going to be seeing Melodious end up taking the game 2 here, just by being able to go Dark Hole. Those board breaker cards are going to be crazy this format. Regardless, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to see more content like this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.